Yeah, so this guy, I'm laying with him on the floor the other day, like the second day I had him here. And he just lays on his back and flips over and shows me his belly. So that's, with animals, that's a good thing, right?
Usually.
Yeah.
Submissive.
Right. So I go to pet his belly. Oh, he don't like that. Just like Joker said, not one bit. He grabbed my hand with all of his claws, sunk his teeth in, and went to town. I'm like, yelling. He finally lets go. And then he has the balls, because he still has them until this Friday, to walk like 10 feet away from me, sit down on the floor. He does this. And just closes his eyes, licking his lips. Like, that tasted good. I need more of that blood.
Sleep with one eye open, human.
So he's locked in the basement. He can't get me while I'm sleeping, thank God. He came upstairs today and just looked around for a minute because he knows we have a dog. I kind of like him to have free run of the house, but I'm afraid that him and the dog would get into it since he is an out. He must have been at someone's house because he's way too friendly to just be a straight up feral. But anyways. All right, here we go. In 5. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Mike.
How's allergy season treating you?
Not good. Not good. I'm going to take this opportunity to apologize to everybody. If you're watching the video, you're going to see me blow my nose and wipe it throughout the show. And if you're listening, I'm going to sneeze or cough. It's going to happen. I'll try to mute the mic.
Yeah, push your cough button like in radio.
I don't think I have a cough button. Hold on. If I just continue to talk and I do this, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't work at all.
Okay, so that's not.
That's
out. I'll just turn the knob all the way down.
All right. Speaking of knobs, welcome to episode 43. Woohoo!
The fuck does that have to do with a knob?
I don't know. Some guy that's a knob wears number 43. I'm sure in a professional fashion somewhere. He's a dick or a knob, whatever. I don't know. It's 43.
What? Matt Cain, when he first came to the majors, wore number 43. Fun fact.
Did he?
Yes, he did. Before he went to number 18.
Okay.
So there you go.
I'm looking at the flag picture you sent to me with the cowboy
flag.
That might be, I'm pretty sure that's Beth and John Dutton on their horses.
I could be.
It looks like them. Did you do that with the laser?
I did.
Look at you. My laser's still sitting over there. I got light burn now. Just haven't looked at anything. I have no idea what I'm
going to somebody that just recently, I can't remember if they bought a house or sold a house.
Okay.
But that'll be going to them.
Cool. It looks cool, man. I didn't know if you posted that on your IG page because I haven't seen it.
At some point I probably did. I don't know, man. I've been
so
busy with this damn kitchen.
Oh, I just dropped my water cap. I can't put it back on my bottle. So I hope the cat doesn't knock the water over on the control board.
That would be tragic.
Bad. That would be bad. That might end that cat's life.
Live on air.
Yeah. Shh, don't say that.
Oh.
So people are wondering, yeah, I do have a cat now, a shop cat. And this is a cat that I was speaking to Brandon about that I saw at work a number of weeks ago and bet someone $10 that I could pet it. Never got my money, but I got the cat.
Oh, so we welched on the bet, huh?
They welched on the bet. I'm not going to say names. Just going to put that out there that someone owes me $10.
You should just start sending him bills. Like leave him a bill in his mailbox at work and then leave another one on the windshield of his patrol car.
Nice.
And then just have them all, like, just have a stack of them. Every time you go to a call, like, if he leaves his car unlocked, just set it inside the car.
Awesome. Usually, if they leave their cars unlocked, we steal the MDT just to teach them a lesson.
Oh, we'll move the entire car. That's what we do with the recruits. If you leave...
That's if they leave the keys in the car.
No, you just leave it unlocked. We will move the car, and then you will
Are all your cars keyed the same? How are you moving the car without a key? I'm curious.
The FTO has a spare.
Oh, okay.
Because we have had recruits
I don't carry spares
lock
when
the
I'm
keys
training.
in the car with somebody in the back seat.
Oh, get out.
Yeah, that happens.
Oh, that's pretty funny. I've run out of my squad and not locked the door. And then when I got back in the car, I've seen my partner driving away laughing. And then I go to punch something in the computer and the computer's gone. That's happened. So that's what you do, right? We try and teach lessons. We are a lesson teaching business. There were some lessons not learned in Baltimore as I just finished watching We Own This City.
I still haven't had a chance to start it.
Holy shit, dude. Get on that shit. But I still now I'm behind on. I finished Ozark since we last spoke.
Okay.
Haven't started Stranger Things yet.
Haven't watched a single episode of that show ever.
Oh, you're missing out. Or the Orville.
I might go back and watch it now.
And we haven't started. I did start Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So did we.
All right.
I like it so far.
Yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes in a row because it had been out for 3 weeks apparently because I was been so busy at work.
Well, the first 2 came out
Friday, Wednesday,
the
right?
27th.
Like Friday, Wednesday.
And then episode 3 came out like Wednesday or something.
And Wednesday. Yeah, the 27th.
I don't know, but I'm going to go see Top Gun tomorrow.
Oh, man, my buddy at work's asking me to go, and
we're going
I don't have
to the
time.
danger zone.
Nice. I can't wait to go. I'm going to go to the IMAX because there's one right by me. So excited. I'm looking forward to doing that. My daughter turned 26 on the 27th.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. So we were out celebrating that whole weekend, So I'll get to that. The Boys started, and I haven't started that yet either. So it's like Stranger Things and The Boys have started. And so I'm trying to finish We Own the City, and then I'll move on to the next.
It's hard to watch, like for me to get time to watch the adult shows because, kids.
Right. Especially if you and Annie want to watch it together. You got to.
Yeah, we got a 3-day window.
Right. Yeah. So it's like just do nothing else in the house or just binge TV shows.
Yeah.
So how was your week?
So it's so I'm back. So okay. At the start of last shift, I was on midnights on my favorite channel in one of my favorite districts.
Like channel 7?
That is channel 6.
Oh, I was close.
You were. So then I left that channel to go to my second favorite channel, channel 4, where I became an FTO.
They're all even numbered channels, so that's good so far.
Yeah. So now I am back on channel 6, where the world makes sense. So very busy. So I've been to a ton of calls, but the one that stands out was how we ended our week this past week. We ended with a murder.
Not just one.
Well, I was only there for one. The other one came out as I was driving. No, I was walking out of the building.
You were done with the shift?
Yeah, I was done with the shift. I was walking out of the building because I didn't get out of work till like 3:30. Okay. And then I think I got home around like 4:30. But that's when the second murder happened. But
are these nice people that are getting murdered or just scumbags?
Well, the second guy was a nice guy. Well, I don't know him personally, but he was just like some poor schmuck that worked at Safeway.
A big city. Oh, he was a Safeway employee. Did he sell a rotten cucumber or something?
No, I'm guessing, and this is all hypothetical on my part because I wasn't there for this case.
Right.
I'm assuming it was a beer run gone wrong.
He went for a beer run.
No, I think somebody went for a beer run and he tried to stop them and they said, pow.
Oh. Well, why would someone stop someone from going for beer?
I don't know. I mean, eventually, as somebody who used to work in retail and had people try and steal things, like eventually you just kind of get tired of people being allowed to do that shit.
Oh, you don't mean like me and you are hanging out and I go, hey, man, I'm going on a beer run, meaning I'm going to purchase beer.
No. So in our city, we call a beer run when you go into the store, you grab beer and then you run like hell.
Okay. Not the beer run I'm used to.
It's a theft.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Retail theft.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's my theory because this is a really nice neighborhood that this happened in. Like this kind of thing it's not typical.
So he was shot at the Safeway on a beer run?
Yes.
Someone took offense to the beer run.
I'm assuming that he tried to interrupt the beer run.
Oh, he was trying to
And-
play Good Samaritan,
Yes.
unlike Jerry Seinfeld.
Correct.
And the fat guy was getting robbed.
Yes.
And then they set him straight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
See, it doesn't
So-
pay to play Good Samaritan.
It doesn't.
Be
And
an
that's what I tell
expert
people.
witness and call the police and give a good description. That's what your
That's
responsibility.
it. Don't get involved. It's not worth your life. And I tell
No.
people that all the time. Like, look, it's not worth that case of beer is not worth your life.
$12. Guy lost his life. And it wasn't even his $12 that they were stealing.
No,
I don't even know how much a case is right now. I'm just putting $12 out there.
I don't know if it was a 6-pack, a 12-pack. I don't even know that it was
Yeah.
a damn beer run.
All right.
I'm just assuming.
You know
But
what
the
happens
other-
when you assume, Brandon?
I make an ass out of you and me. But the homicide I went to, we at least apprehended a suspect.
Giddy up.
Who is currently in jail.
Congratulations. I have something for you for that.
I had nothing to do with it. I would love to say that, yeah, I ran him down, tackled him, threw the cuffs on him, and tossed him in the back of the car. It's not what happened.
Not what happened. He kind of fell into your lap.
Yeah, just kind of. Well, I didn't even put the cuffs on him. I think he was already in custody by the time I landed on the scene because the call came out super weird.
Yeah.
But to where you're like, oh, this is a bullshit call. This is a bullshit call. And all of a sudden, like, yeah, someone's calling in, and this is what they're describing. You go, what? Oh crap!
No.
So that was my week. But and we'll get to yours. But I know the main thing that we had talked about wanting to discuss was since our last show, there have been what 4,
Numerous.
5? Yeah, way too damn many mass shootings. And in one of those cases, there's a lot of criticism being thrown at law enforcement. So I thought that would be something for us to kind of get into a little bit without getting into, like trade secrets or tactics or something like that. Just maybe so people can have a better understanding of how we operate and what maybe the root cause of some of this stuff is. But how was your week, Mike?
My 2 weeks were very busy, and we'll have to split it up into like the next 4 episodes. But at work, I'll talk about one thing. I gave this person a name that my wife had to write down in her phone to share with friends. Because I don't know if it was like bitch, cunt, fuck, whatever the hell it was. It was like 10 words long. And my wife had to say, hold on, can you repeat that? I need to tell so-and-so about that. I'm like, all right, whatever. So she wrote that down on her phone. I meant for her to text it to me so I could share it with my fans and listeners and you. But since we don't have any fans, we just have listeners. We'll have to wait to get that description from her. But I put it down. Oh, actually, we have a few things here. One, I got a cat. That was a big thing for me. I captured the cat, so he's here. People are like, my buddy Danny said, just leave him out there so he gets killed by a car. And Gio said, I'm upsetting the evolution of life by removing the cat from the wild where he would have been eaten by wolves or whatever the hell they're called.
Who are you to play God?
And then I'm having his balls cut off on Friday. So I'm meaner.
So insult to injury. One, you're upsetting the natural order of things, and
the
then
circle of life.
2, you're gonna chop his balls off.
Yes, which he's licking right now next to me on the table.
Well, he might as well. The clock's ticking.
They are going away soon in 4 more days. So his name is Mittens. He's adorable.
Debatable.
But yeah, debatable. Went on a road trip for a prisoner. Tell you about that next time. So we get this call this is the one I'll just talk about real quick. Get a call for a fight between a man and a woman. It wasn't my call. We have a rookie now who's being trained. It was my buddy Danny's call, but since the rookie's there, he's going to take everything. So rookie shows up first. Danny shows up. Danny sees this chick on top of this guy, just giving him the business, like Captain America and Iron Man, and breaks him up. 2 Hispanic dudes who speak barely any English, and this Russian chick. We find out later when we find out after we arrested her that she's from Russia.
Was her name Natasha?
She's not Natasha.
In Russia, hooker beats you.
Yes, they do. I was waiting for that all week. Yeah. So this chick is beyond disgusting, first of all. All right.
Well, she's a hooker. I'm assuming. You haven't said that she's a hooker, but
I'm
assuming she's a hooker.
We're thinking she's a hooker. Okay. She's got Mind you, these are one of the greatest inventions of all mankind are the yoga pants. When they're on the proper people.
Agreed.
Yeah. This chick, not the proper person to be wearing yoga pants. And she's got like a tight fitting shirt on. Okay. With straps, no like sleeves like my t-shirts, but like a strap one. And her titties are down
strap on?
She was not, but that came later.
She put the strap. You gotta pay extra for that.
Yeah. So Dan's trying to talk to this bitch, and she's like, she ain't having any of it. These are my cousins. You interrupt. We're having fun. This ain't none of your business. I ain't got to give you my information.
Didn't look like he was having any fun.
Yeah. So then one of the guys who speaks Spanish is trying to talk to them and get their story, and they're like, it's no problem. It's we wrestling, play fighting, whatever.
No. They were Hispanic.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly what they said.
What they said.
And exactly how it sounded. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
You have to say play wrestling in there somewhere.
It's okay. It's okay. Play wrestling. No, it's okay.
Right. No way.
It's okay.
We think that they picked her up and got her in the car, but then couldn't get her the fuck out when they found out how loony she was. So that's how the fight started. But they're not saying any of that stuff. So she decides she's done talking to Dan and she's going to walk away, except I'm right there. And I go, where the fuck do you think you're going? Don't talk to me that way. I go, he's not done talking to you. Go back there and talk to him. She goes, I don't have to talk to you shit. So
as a matter of fact,
all we were going to do is let them go their separate ways. Give me your information, people. Sometimes you'll just get to walk away. But as soon as she pulled that stunt, now we're going to bring her in for an LO, local ordinance, for fighting. So it went from give me your name and number and stuff and leave to now we're bringing you in for fighting. So we cuff her. She's high, fucking drunk, whatever. She's flipping out. My boss is down the street just watching, like in the dark. And I'm like, she's yelling, you need to call Sergeant Randy of the Fort Wayne, Indiana Police Department. And I'm like, no. She's like, turn your fucking cameras on. You're invading my rights. I say, we ain't got none. So you're out of luck.
Don't got those. Sorry.
And she's screaming bloody murder in the back of the squad. I've never heard someone yell continuously for so long throughout the night. From the minute we put her in the squad car. So then my boss comes over and she's yelling at him through the window. So we're just going to bring her to the station, write her a ticket, get her out. That's it. Signature for the bond, all that shit. Get to the station. She's kicking and screaming. We lock her in a room, handcuff her to a wall. We have to call a female officer from another department to do a search, of course, before we put her in a cell while we're writing the ticket. Female officer comes. They search her. Okay. She ain't got nothing on but yoga pants and a fucking flimsy shirt. We put her in a cell. She's punching the windows, screaming loud. And then, I don't know, 20 minutes go by. And then dispatch can monitor our cells, of course, from where they're at. And they're like, check your prisoner. There's smoke in the cell. Like, what? We look up. The fucking cell's filling with smoke. Run to the back. She set toilet paper on fire in the cell and threw. Where she got a lighter? Maybe it was in her prison wallet. I have no idea because the female officer who checked her didn't find a lighter. You know what I mean? And she didn't have a bra on. Her tits are hanging down to the floor. She was practically stepping on them. Yeah. So she sets the fucking toilet paper on fire and then throws it up on top of the steel cot thing. And then it goes up against the wall. Now, mind you, she's in a brick room. A mattress could start on fire, but she had thrown the mattress on the floor. The mattress sits on a steel raised bench, you'll just say, right? So the fire damaged the brick wall with soot. We were able to get it out. We yank her out of there, put her back in the fucking room, handcuff her again, call the same department to send a female officer, then call Chicago because we need a second female officer. Apparently, we need two people in there. So we're waiting on Chicago to send a female officer. And I told the rookie, I'm like, yeah, call state's attorney for felony approval for 1, felony damage to state-supported property, which is toilet paper. And because it's ours, and the wall, because we have to
attempted arson.
Attempted arson. Fucking arson.
Yeah,
that's fucking arson.
Attempted escape.
Yeah. So
I'd get real creative with shit.
He calls the state's attorney. Now, mind you, we're in Cook County. The chances of us getting arson are slim to none. And what's that saying? Slim just walked out the door. But
yep.
He calls. It's shift change for fucking state's attorney. So we'll get back to you. They call back. He gives them the whole stuff, the whole spiel. State's attorney says, well, I need to know if you've seen it. Before we give you anything, we need to know if you've seen it. It's on camera. Well, you need to review the camera. If you can see her light it. Now, here's a one person in a closed cell that starts a fire. No one else is in there. But okay, whatever. He looks at the videotape. You can clearly see her on video. Light the fucking toilet paper roll and throw it up on the thing. Okay, calls him back. We got it. We got video. We got. Oh, all right. Let me get back to you. Time goes by. State's attorney gets back. He's like, all right, we'll give you felony arson and felony damage to state supported property. Giddy up. All right. So rookie hangs up. You got name, right, of the SA, state's attorney, time it was given. Starts doing all these notes. He's still writing his report. Meanwhile, they send her, two officers come, search her again, throw her back in the cell. And now we've got felony stuff. So now he's got to do what's called the felony 101 in our county. You got to do the states of the case and all that stuff. He starts all that. And then, I don't know, 40 minutes later, dispatch goes, a felony review on a call for you. And he's like, he doesn't know what's going on. He's just starting. I go, they're going to revoke that fucking arson. I bet you any money. So he gets on the phone with the guy, and state's attorney's like, yeah, we're not going to give you the arson. And this rookie looks at me, and I started shaking my head. I go, find out why. So he's like, what do you mean? Well, and then the rookie, to his credit, says, she started a fire in a building where there are people. Everything I read about on the statute, that's an arson.
Those are the elements of
right.
Arson. Are your state's attorneys, are they lawyers or are those?
Especially the midnight state's attorneys who are just starting, they get forced to work overnights.
Okay.
And it's
so
Cook County.
These are actual lawyers.
Yeah, they're
right?
actual lawyers who don't want to give any felony approval for anything because it's Cook County.
Jeez.
So he finally.
Even in California, we don't have to call for felony approval.
Oh, yeah.
We charge it. And then when it comes time for the prelim, we get to watch the district attorney
fuck it up.
Bargain it down to like nothing.
Jaywalking. So to the state's attorney's credit, he then reversed again and then gave us felony approval, right? So now we have to have this prisoner with us all night because she can't bond out, right? She has to go in the morning. The day shift will send her to a bond hearing. So at one point, since I have a camera here, this works. At one point, she's sitting on the bed up against the mattress on the far wall. So the camera's above the door. And then there's a piece of tape over the camera where the toilet is so people can go to the bathroom in private, But we can see her sitting there. The next thing you know, she's got her shirt up. I'm showing on camera. My boobies are sticking, and then she's doing this. She's fucking flipping her titties up and down like this. And then she's got her legs spread apart, and she's smacking it. Just smacking her pleasure area down there. And then she's flipping us off. So titty, smack, flip off. Titty, smack, flip off. And I have to call our dispatch center to get some paperwork sent over. I call them. They pick up the phone. I hear nothing but everyone's dying in the background. They're all watching it on TV. I'm like, when you guys get done entertaining yourself, I need you to send me this. Like, okay, no one can keep a straight face. They're just, even the guy that answered the phone can't even answer me without laughing his ass off. She did that for hours. Flipping titties, smacking her vagina, and then she's poking her hole with her finger. I'm like, this chick was off the rails, dude. And then they send her to a bond hearing, and I didn't hear about it until we had range day outside on Sunday. At range day, the rookie was there, of course, and he had to work the next night. And when he came in, they told him they brought her to bond hearing. They found another lighter on her somewhere. After being searched 2 times by 3 cops and finding one lighter, she found another lighter on her somewhere. So that thing had to be up in her cooch.
Or
her pooper.
Or her bungholio.
A bungholio. It certainly wasn't under her titty because she kept flipping them up and down. It would have
it would have flown right out.
That was disgusting, but fun. All right, so on to mass shootings after that debacle.
Good Lord. Okay,
And
so
after the mass shooting discussion, we will have a question from a police officer question from superfan David Franklin, who has agreed to be a guest on the show in the future.
Fantastic.
Yes. All right.
See what happens when you send questions. Eventually, we'll ask you to be on.
That's right. That's how it works.
Okay, so we've had what? So we had Uvalde, we had Philly. Was it Wisconsin had something at the hospital?
Wisconsin had a judge murdered. That guy just murdered a judge.
That too? Jeez.
Yeah. And he had a hit list, which included Mitch McConnell. But anyways, that wasn't a mass shooting. It was just a one shooter.
Yeah, no, there was something at a hospital, I think, in Wisconsin too. Right. But anyway, we've had them freaking all over.
Yeah.
And the thing that's been sitting with me is this always turns into a gun control debate. Every time.
Of course.
In fact, when Uvalde happened,
it says over 12 mass shootings.
Okay.
And at least 17 dead in the last week.
Okay.
All right.
So
first of all, what clarifies a mass shooting to you? Because I've seen different things.
The definition I've seen, and I think is used by the FBI, is 3 or more than 3, something like that. So we're talking in the range of like 3-4 people shot. It's a mass shooting. Whether or not they die is irrelevant.
Right. That doesn't count.
So one, I think that's, I mean, granted, yeah, any type of shooting you go to where you have 3 victims, I mean, that is odd, but so we were in Colorado when Uvalde happened. We were at lunch, and instantly, as soon as the news broke, my stepmom goes, "Well, they're gonna come after the guns. They're gonna come after the guns." She goes, "How long before it gets turned into a gun control debate?"
12 seconds.
Well, no, I sat there and I looked at it. I go, "You just made it a gun control debate."
Right.
So it's not just, and it's kind of what pisses me off about the conservative side, because they always go, "Oh, they're going to come after our guns. They're going to come after our guns," and it's all the Democrats this and well, you motherfuckers are turning it into a gun control debate before they can by saying, "Oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that." How about instead of going and looking at the gun, the tool, right? Because I know and I'm S2A is the next person, right? We don't, and I love that this gets brought up because it's very narrow-minded and to a very nuanced issue, but the whole like, well, we don't ban cars for car accidents or for when someone drives a car into a crowd.
Or knives, baseball bats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's a very narrow-minded approach to a very broad issue, because in the other issue that people like to bring up, and myself included, I'm just as guilty of it, is, well, what about mental health? Well, let's take it a step further. What about what caused the mental health issue that led to somebody thinking that this is okay, or getting to the point where they feel like they need to go and murder a classroom
people
full
that
of kids?
They don't know. Yeah, especially children, for fuck's sake. I don't know, Brandon. I'm so beyond disgusted with the entire situation. I'm trying not to even watch the news anymore. And of course, now they're trying to force a bill through Congress right now in reference to gun control. And then I saw a stupid news story today on local news here in the Chicagoland area. We have to have a FOID card, which is a firearm owner's identification card. I don't know what the fuck it does, but we're supposed to have it. We can't.
Just puts
stupid.
You in a database.
Yeah. The Illinois State Police, is controlled by them, so you apply through them, and then you do your background check, all that stuff. You can't buy ammo without a valid FOID, and you can't buy a gun without a FOID. Yet today on the news, they're saying that they're going to finally crack down on people who are selling ammo to people who don't have a valid FOID. And I'm like, every store I've ever walked into to legally purchase ammunition has never sold me ammunition without checking to see if my FOID is valid. Once again, the people that are doing it by the rules aren't the problem. It's the fucking people on the side that are selling ammos and guns to the dealers and gangbangers. Although the kid in Texas was 18 and bought two, I'm not going to call them assault rifles, two rifles.
Well, no, it's
after he turned
not
18.
a verb.
Right. Well, you saw that video. Did you see was that in our chat group? The video of the guy shooting an AR-15 at a target, and he goes, "This is a rifle." Then he shoots it at a target, and he says, "Now it's an assault rifle." And then he puts it down, and he grabs a golf club. "This is a golf club." And he goes nuts on the paper target, and he goes, "Now it's an assault club." That's what it is, right?
Like that. How do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we solve it? Because that's the thing. It's a problem, right? I think we can all agree we have a gun violence.
Well, we have a gun violence problem.
Okay, so how do we solve it?
Or with the mental, I say mental illness. Though most of these people that are doing this obviously are not right in the head, right?
Well, what about your average gangbanger? Most of them don't suffer from any kind of mental health,
don't they? You don't think that the way that they're raised and they think is normal and right?
I'm so glad you said that.
Right?
How about we keep dads in kids' lives?
There's a novel concept.
How about we don't treat masculinity as something that should be booed and something that should be celebrated? Because true masculinity isn't this stereotypical bravado that just puts people down. I would say stereotypical masculinity is that of a protector and provider.
Right.
And if you don't have a protector and provider in society, what do you have? You have chaos.
Yes.
So how about we address that issue? How about we take these kids, right? What is the devil's plaything?
Time.
Idle hands.
Yeah.
These kids
idle hands are the work of the devil.
These kids don't have shit to do. They sit around all day and they play fuck on the idiot box in front of them all day. Let's encourage getting kids, like teenage kids, jobs. Give them something to do after school. Let's get them involved in sports. Let's provide some sort of, and I don't think the government has any place doing this, because when does the government ever successfully run any sort of program?
Yeah. You know what? I'm watching that show, right? We just finished, right? We Own the City. Treat Williams was in it, and he looks fucking horrible, like I get hit by an old man bus. But whatever. I didn't even recognize him until I saw his name on the screen. I got, oh my God, that's Treat Williams. But he plays an officer who worked in Baltimore for over 30 years, and then he retires. He was one of the good ones, and then he's teaching. And he's trying to discuss with the DOJ woman who's doing the investigation. And he's like, he says, it's a great document you made. It's true of what you're writing about, the injustices and the abuse of power and the beatings but what you're not talking about is someone coined the term drug war. So you have a war, which means you have to have soldiers, and you're going to have victims. And he goes, that whole term has just corrupted everything in the United States and turned so much stuff on its head because of the way, that's a battle you've lost, one of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's so much shit to think about with these shootings. And to me, it's all mental health. You can mention the gangbangers, but yeah, I think they suffer from mental health as well.
But my point is, yes, we can try and treat the mental health with a mental health care system that does not work, period, point blank. And I have loved ones that work in it. It doesn't work, and they'll tell you straight to your face, it doesn't work. It is broken beyond repair. You need to wipe the slate clean and start all over. But how about we go a step further and try to prevent the mental illness from taking hold? Some of it's preventable. Some of it's trauma induced, right? You grew up in a fatherless home where your dad was in jail the entire time with gangbanger activity, with committing crimes and living a life of violence. Well, what the fuck do you think the kids are going to do?
Right. That's exactly what they're going to do.
It's generational. when you boil a human being down, we are very simple. We are monkey see, monkey do.
I thought you were going to go Jeffrey Dahmer on me for a minute.
I thought about it for a second.
You're talking about boiling human beings. I thought you went down another path.
Like, as I said it in my head, I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound
That's
great.
not good.
I need to hurry up and make this point. It's just sad that everyone tries to like it. Fine, you do universal background checks and you limit the capacity of a magazine to 10 rounds and you do all these things that have been proven to not work in the past. It's still a Band-Aid for a bullet wound, and the argument still exists that no criminal is going to follow that.
No matter what.
It's simple. It's not going to happen. So how about it's a two-pronged attack. You treat it on the front end with the family life, and you get these kids early and you get them doing things, right? You get them into these STEM programs that schools have, and you get them working with their hands and doing stuff. And then on the back end, because there's a whole segment that we just failed as a society. I mean, let's call it what it is. Society has failed an entire segment of the population. And let's try to go, hey, if you do this, it's not probation. It's not do 10 years and you're good to go. It's 25 to life, first offense.
Yeah.
Why not?
And they're going to say that, and something that was pointed out in the show, because it's Baltimore, so their demographics are different, but you have jails filled with adult black men who don't know any different. But what else are we supposed to do? I don't know. White, black, blue, green.
You can't.
You have to have consequences for your actions for one, but there also has to be something to help you get out of that behavior.
Yes. And you can't start a program like this without the immediacy of like, oh, well, a certain kind of person is always in there. Yes, because if you want to check so for anybody that asks or is going to say, oh, you're just a Republican. Yes, I'm registered as a Republican, but if you look at my voting record, I'm more libertarian than anything else. Right. I just register as a Republican, so I have a say in the primary. Just like Annie's a Democrat, so that way we have a say in the primary. Shit's chess, it ain't checkers. So the Democrats, if you look at their voting history, the left has continually put in place policies and programs to incentivize keeping poor people poor. They want to talk about, how, stuff disproportionately affects, black and brown people. Well, it's because you refuse to let them to get out of the gutter. Yeah. You incentivize staying there. You incentivize, hey, have that fifth kid. We'll give you more food stamps. We'll give you more government assistance. We'll give you more housing. You can't take care of the fifth kid. You couldn't take care of the first kid. But we're going to incentivize you having more kids.
And then when your kid gets in trouble, we're going to make it so they don't stay locked up for long because it's bad for them.
No, and we're going to institutionalize them. And you're going to glorify the behavior because you're a piece of shit. So I wanted to get that part of it off my chest. And then I think we got to talk about the response to the active shooter in Uvalde, right?
Yeah.
So
for the people who have joined our show past episode 7, if you haven't listened to from the beginning, episode 7 was one of the most powerful episodes because it was you who had to respond to with your people that you didn't even know in law enforcement that you went into an active shooter for the VTA. Yes. And you guys did what we're trained to do, and that's go in right away.
Yeah, you don't wait, you go in.
You're a one-man fucking team. There's not just waiting for now, especially when you go into a school and there's an active shooter.
Yes, and here's part of it I want to address, because there's been so much that has come out that has been proven as lies or as inaccurate and all this other stuff. One thing that I know for certain from my time in the military to even 4 years as being a cop, you cannot do a proper AAR or after action report even weeks after the event. It takes months, sometimes years, to do an after action, because people have asked me like, oh, well, what do you think of them standing by? I'm like, well, what did they know? Were they hearing gunshots? Were they hearing stimulus? What did they know? What tools did they have? Because when someone's barricaded, and this sounds really callous, it really does, especially when you throw in the fact that there's, fourth grade kids. I have a kid that's going into the fourth grade. So I know how shitty this sounds, but if you have a guy that's barricaded in a classroom that's already murdered 19 kids that are in that classroom, they're not getting any deader.
No, and then that becomes your barricaded subject.
Yes.
And tactics change.
Everything slows down.
Right. People that don't do our job don't understand the difference between an active shooter and a barricaded subject, and what you're supposed to do between those two are huge differences.
Because here's the thing. If people want us to rush in on a barricaded person, fine. That's fine. Just tell me the rules I'm playing by. Just understand that by telling us go ahead, rush in on a barricaded person, you're going to have far more officer-involved shootings. And you're going to have far more dead cops. So if you're okay with that, then fine. Just tell us what rules we're playing by so we can at least adapt. Now, I don't agree with the decisions that were made, because I think you can take all the, standard protocols and all that stuff that we play by, and you can throw that out the window when it involves kids. In my short career, everything changes when you have a kid victim. Everyone works a little bit harder. You take chances that you probably wouldn't normally take, because there's nothing more innocent and more precious than the life of a kid.
Yeah. I don't know. From what I've read, that the chief, or whoever was the commanding officer on that scene.
Yeah, was it the school district chief?
Yeah,
school district, because they have their own police department for the school district.
For the school district. I thought I read where he understood it to be, after like 2 shots or whatever, that it was a barricaded subject.
Yeah, and I think that's the, I don't want to call it an excuse, or at least that's the reasoning he gave, was that we thought it was a barricade.
Now we have a barricaded subject, and we know that there's a difference on how to go about a barricaded subject.
Yeah.
It wasn't until he then continued to fire after that, then they realized, well, he's in a room. Yeah, and he's being an active shooter. I mean,
maybe it's just a deficiency in training, because that's the way that we train it. Is you have an active shooter. Okay, cool. We're going in. Boom, 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 right. And then all of a sudden you lose that stimulus. Well, then you slow down and it becomes systematic, right? And then all of a sudden that gunfire, that stimulus pops back up, and then you drive to it. And you start, you bypass all this other stuff to get to it. And then once it goes away, then, okay, now we have to do slow systematic. So maybe it was a deficiency in training where they didn't have that and they weren't able to change that gear. So I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know much about school police departments.
I know it's the guys that couldn't get hired in a city or county.
Yeah, like, and then what are their training resources? And first of all, those are let's clarify this. School police departments, where kids should be training more for rapid deployment than we do.
And for active shooter situations.
Yes.
That should be,
I mean,
the thing they hit on most.
Right. I don't know what their training budget is, or how they line up their training regiment, or maybe they do train for that.
I'm sure they have a shoestring budget. Let's face it. It's
sure. But
in today's world. But yeah, it was really sad to see. It was even sadder to see people jump all over people that they don't understand. One, how active shooter protocols work. 2, the difference between a barricade and an active shooter. And then 3, you don't know what they knew.
Right. So
it's, you have to judge them off the information that they had on the time. Yeah, we can all sit here and say that we would have just, gung-ho gone in there, safety to hell and handled the problem. Well, it's all fun and games and fine to say when you don't have to put your money where your mouth is.
Under Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was a little bit more, I guess, sensitive to that one because that happened like almost, I think, the day before the anniversary of VTA.
Has it been that long already?
Yeah, it was the 26th.
Wow. I'm glad my kids are out of grade school and high school.
I'm glad my kids are homeschooled. We had that conversation in Colorado. I was like, man, I'm glad they're homeschooled because I don't got to worry about that. Someone tries to shoot up the school that they're at, they're going to die real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Do you have any more on that? Because
no, that's pretty much all I wanted to
say. Depressing, not Mike. Brandon.
Yeah. Well, I would say more anger than depression.
Yeah, but it's just a sad thing that everyone is aware of.
State where, even my department today, we had a shooting, a gang shooting that occurred inside of a public library where there were school-aged children. It could have been horrible. Thankfully, the only person that got shot was it was the intended target. How about that?
That works.
It was the one time they were accurate.
Right. Maybe he was really fat and they couldn't miss. I don't know.
That's true. I don't know. I don't know which gangster it was.
Right. We don't know. Could be
it was in the part of the city that I used to work, so maybe I can find out which gangster it was. I'm like, oh yeah, no, he's fat. He's big.
Yeah. Get back to me on that.
They call them quicks.
Yeah. Or small. Or tiny.
Tiny or smalls.
Tiny, smalls. Yeah. In either case, it's a gangbanger who's dead, who was just probably.
No, he's not dead. He's alive. It was a non-life-threatening injury.
He shot him in the leg.
No, that's actually better if there was small kids in the library. You don't want them to see that. The homicide I went to, there was a Hindi church that was getting ready to let out. So my job was to protect them. And this poor bastard is laying out in the parking lot. And, there's kids poking their heads. I'm like, get the fuck back inside.
And so there's nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Yeah.
Some lady goes, "Is he dead?" I'm like,
nope, just sleeping on the pavement.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
He's got some Kool-Aid
to his head.
He spilled some Kool-Aid next to his head. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's not
He's
blood.
Just really tired.
He's sleepy. That just reminds me of that Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, True Lies, and she looks she's got her head in his lap, and then what's his name's like, maybe she's sleepy. This guy's sleepy. He's just laying on the ground. Hey, guess what? We have a law enforcement question.
We have a question.
We do, from
none other than
David Franklin. So I have it on my phone. The modern technology is going to allow me to play this through the podcast machine.
Making an awfully big assumption.
At least it worked in pre-show trials.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Hey, what's up, guys? David from 516 Woodworks. Seems like I'm always sending something woodworking related, but how about I send you something that is Leo related? So both of you are at different stages in your law enforcement career. Looking back on your career, or looking forward on your career. Have you wanted to be a part of a specialty unit, but you never got the opportunity to? Or is there a specialty unit that you would like to apply and be a part of? A little bit different of a question, but definitely want to hear your guys' answer. Stay safe on the street.
Thanks, David. Awesome
question.
Yeah,
this is the first cop question that we've gotten
ever. 43 episodes in.
We did get a cop question, but it was clarifying a part of the vehicle code or something like that. Which
was that was Troy?
I don't remember. Question? I don't remember who it was.
Okay,
but it was a good question. It was a good cop question. So I don't want to say it's the very first cop question, but it's the first hey, what about you guys?
Yeah.
So in the spirit of new things, Mike.
Oh, me?
You go first.
I'm honored because I'm almost done. So,
and you've also been a part of a lot of things, so this is going to take a while for you.
It won't take. I won't go on and on. But what's cool is I just had a job interview, and the sergeant that was looking at my resume said, "Mike, I'm going to be honest with you. You have an amazing resume. Are you sure you want to sit in a room all day with all?" He said to me, "All the shit you've done, you want to sit in a room?" And I said, "Is there a window in the room?" And he goes, "There's no windows." And I go, "That's okay. I can pull something up on the computer." I go, "You're not going to lock me in there, are you? You're going to let me out to like bring evidence to the lab and work with investigations?"
Go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And then the HR person goes, No, we're going to lock you in. We didn't want anybody to find out." But as he was looking at my resume, I have done a lot of shit, FTO and PIO, field training officer, public information officer, fire investigator, evidence technician, forensic investigator on 2 homicide teams, truck enforcement officer, recruiting officer. But 2 things I always wanted to do. And I had a chance to try out for the first one, and that's be on the SWAT team. So we don't have a SWAT team at my department, but our village pays to be part of what's called NIPUS, Northern Illinois Police Emergency System. And then NIPUS has a SWAT team, and they also have like the crowd control team, which you call it. I forget what the name of it is. You've mentioned it before.
A mobile field force.
Thank you, mobile field force. That name.
Just regular patrol officers are like, "Hey, dude, that's your job today. So if we call for it, you go."
Yeah. So ours is part of NIPUS, and then they have a bike unit. But SWAT, I always wanted to do SWAT, and I had a chance to try out for the NIPUS SWAT team early in my career. I think I'd been on the job for maybe 2 years. And I was on midnights at the time. I was also working security at a hotel. And this comes into play because I had to work at the hotel before I worked a 3 to 11 shift, or actually 2:30 to 10:30 at the hotel, and then worked my 11 to 7 shift at the police department. And the NIPUS test was at like 8 in the morning. So there was no fucking way I could go because it was like a physical test and running and shooting. And I had just worked, 16 hours on 3 hours of sleep. So I decided not to go. I put in for it. I just didn't show up because I was dead ass tired. And one of my very good friends that I hike with, my buddy Mark, who's now a sergeant, he went and he got it. And he worked NIPUS, and he ended up being a commander on one of the entry teams. And he did it for 18 years. He got off of it when he got promoted to sergeant. So that's one thing I always wanted to do. And then the other was always wanted to be a detective. We have a shitload of cases in our department that we normally had 4 detectives that they split it amongst themselves. Now they've lowered it to 3 because we lost one. My buddy Brian retired. They've already said they're not replacing him with a 4th detective. So that's gone for me. I was up for consideration before I retired the first time. It was between me and my buddy Kevin and a guy who had 3 years on the job. But the guy with 3 years on the job was politically connected, as was our new chief. So he got the detective position over me. And their excuse was, I've got too much experience with all the homicides and stuff. I'd been on forensic side. They wanted to give someone else a chance. It was all bullshit. So never got to be a detective. And I'm retiring soon, so that's never going to happen. And never got to be on SWAT. So that's my 2.
So I'm at a stage where I can actually start testing. So our department says like, hey, you got to be on for 3 years before you can even start testing for any of these units. And I'm pretty fortunate that I work at a place that has a lot of different specialized units.
And a lot of openings.
Yes. People are dropping like flies. Oh, you remember the kid I told you about, special ed?
Yeah.
He quit. That happened last week.
Nice.
But no, there's a handful of things that I'd like to do. One of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to be a gang detective. I like gang stuff. It fascinates me so much. But that robbery would be a nice unit to get into, to work robberies, carjacking, stuff like that. But then I've always kind of limited myself on things and said like, hey, like maybe you're not that high speed, right? You're not that high speed, low drag, which is why when I was in the military, I never really tried we had a base SWAT team or a tactical response force for the news. Never tried out for that because it was like, oh no, you're not that guy. So I've decided in my aging, my 35 years of existence on this earth, to stop fucking doing that. And one of the units that I would really like to eventually get into would be our covert response unit. This is similar to think like LA Sheriff major crimes.
Okay.
It's all covert. It's a lot of surveillance, and all you do is apprehend the worst of the worst. So when there's a homicide suspect that needs to go get picked up, the SWAT team works with the covert response team, and if he's stationary in a house, the SWAT team will hit it. If he's mobile in a car, the covert unit will do something similar to what's called a car jam and take him out of the car that way. And it's nothing. All you do is work high profile cases. That's all you do.
That sounds fun.
So I would like to do that. If and when that time comes, if this show is still in existence, we may have to change some things because I won't be able to talk about cases.
No, you'll just have to talk about things that you're seeing that aren't related to your cases.
And the video could be an issue.
Oh, you'll have to wear a mask. Like a Batman mask.
I don't wear a mask when I'm supposed to wear a mask. I'm certainly not doing that in my home.
Not a COVID mask, but a Batman cowl will hide your identity and allow your mouth to be free of anything in the way.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do that.
I wore one to a Sox game once.
I believe that.
It's on video. I have a copy.
But yeah, those are the kind of the three things that I'd really like to get into.
Those are cool. Yeah. So, and you have, God willing, tons of time to get into that stuff. And I hope that you get a chance to do as much of it as you want, because I told the rookie that we're training now, I'm like, listen, man, it's funny. I just went off on this it was him and I and his FTO in the squad room. And somehow it came up how this is the greatest job in the world. And the people I've met through my job in other states is just amazing. So I went off on this whole tangent. And I almost brought a tear to my eye. And the rookie's like, wow. I'm like, listen, man, you picked an amazing... He's in the military as well. He's gone for 2 weeks on leave for his basic training stuff that he has to do every year. They do 2 weeks. So I think he's in reserves, Army reserves. So he's serving the National Guard. So he's serving the country and National Guard.
2 weekends a month, or 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year.
Yeah, so that's what he's doing. So he's serving the country and community in the Army and law enforcement. So give him props for doing that. But I told him, listen, don't, and this is up to you, anybody in our field of work, right? Your department has way more resources than mine. I get to wear many hats because I wanted to. So we have patrolmen that are just patrolmen. That's cool because we need everyone to be, patrolmen as well. And at one time I had 2 cell phones and a pager I was carrying because of a homicide team and a fire investigating team. I mean, that's the person I am. But you can develop your own path. And I told them, if you want to do shit, put in for it. Just do it. Or if you just want to be a patrolman, just be a patrolman. But the young guys, and I consider you a young guy because you're 21 years younger than me. You have a chance. You're new. You're still in your department. Coming on. You're in your 4th year. You have a lot to do. You have a lot of choices to make. So I hope you get to do the stuff that you want to, because you have a long career ahead of you, and it would just be amazing if you got to do that stuff that you really want to do. So put in for it and go for it. That's what I tell all the young guys. And if you don't like our department because it's too small, go to a fucking big department. Go somewhere where they have, like yours, where there's all kinds of channels that you can go to in all different directions that you can be a part of. I would have loved to have been a homicide detective. I worked homicides as a forensic guy and worked with the detectives, but I wanted to go with the detectives and do their shit too. You know what I mean? And they're like, come in then when you're not on call and it's not your homicide that you're working on forensics, I'd come in right along. And I never did it because I was too busy. So, but I wanted to do it as a job, as part of my career. But I didn't get a chance to. But still, I built a pretty impressive resume.
I'll say.
So.
It's like 6 miles long.
It is long.
And distinguished. We watched the original Top Gun yesterday, so.
Nice.
Long and distinguished.
Long and distinguished.
Popped into my head.
Nice. Yeah, so that we can end this, I did have a job interview for an evidence technician, property control guy. So in a very nice police department in a city that's right next to where I bought my first house. And my kids were born in that city, in the hospital there. It's a great community. And their chief died on Monday. My interview was on Wednesday. I'm like, is it even still happening? I don't know, because obviously the chief died. And then I never got an email that the HR person sent me twice. I think her server doesn't like Yahoo. So the deputy chief sat in on the interview for like 5 minutes. And then, of course, there's 2 deputy chiefs, and they're running around with their heads cut off because of the chief passed away. So thought it went well. But that was one of the last questions, was that sergeant said to me, you sure you're going to want to be in a room after looking at your resume? And I told him, I said, I've loved what I've done in law enforcement. I'm very proud of my career and what's on that piece of paper. And the 2 sergeants said, you should be. And I said, but listen, this past weekend, I had to be up all weekend for shooting on Sunday and a wedding on Saturday. And so I slept 2 hours on Friday, 2.5 hours on Friday to flip my schedule. On Saturday, drove my son to the airport. My wife was with me. We went to breakfast. We went to Home Depot. We came home. We brought in 36 sheets of drywall. We did stuff all day and night. I haven't had a day like that in 5 years. It's been 5 years since I've been able to do that on a Saturday with my family. And then on Monday, of course, it's a holiday, I got to work. So I'm sleeping. Slept for 3 hours, got up with a massive headache, went downstairs to get some aspirin. She's outside with the dog, and I went outside to sit by her. And she's like, why are you awake? I told her, I got a headache, whatever. And she's all sad because it's Monday. My son's in London. My daughter's at her boyfriend's house. I'm supposed to be sleeping, and she's home on a holiday by herself. So I go to bed. I get up. She's cooking 1 cheeseburger on the stove, even not even on the grill. She's like, this is my Memorial Day cheeseburger, all by herself, and kind of crying. I'm like, yeah. So I told the sergeant, you're going to ask me if I'm ready to be in a room and work 7 to 3:30 every day, Monday through Friday, with evenings and weekends and holidays off? Yeah, I'm ready. He's like, all right. So supposed to hear something this week. I don't know. There was 230 applicants. They only interviewed 8 of us. So we'll see where
I'd say you got a better than a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I've got a 15% chance, actually, if you do that.
Well, yeah, if you're into math.
It's 0.15, whatever it is. I'm trying to think of what's half of a quarter. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that was our law enforcement week. And I'm looking at, we can end the show if you don't want to do any of the woodworking stuff, because it's been long enough. So
all I've been doing is tiling, and I'm about to go do more of it.
All right. So you're tiling. I'm working on the island, and I've got another affiliate program, but I can talk to you about that.
No. Who's giving you free shit now?
All right. So there's a company called Brightify on Amazon, and they reached out to me. Now, on my YouTube channel, I have a deadbolt video. My deadbolt broke, and I couldn't get out of the house. So I took my phone, and I recorded a video, which has 150,000 views on it, of how to fix your deadbolt. It's still going. Years later, I'm still getting responses to this video. So someone that owns a lock company saw my video on YouTube and reached out to me, and they sent me a push-button deadbolt lock system for free, and they want me to shoot a video on it and put it on my YouTube channel and on Instagram. So that company's called Brightify, and then it allowed me to set up an affiliate program on Amazon, so where people can buy the lock system through Amazon, and then I'll get, through the link through I'll get a cut. So that I have to do within 3 weeks of getting it. I got it last week, but I've been working my ass off, so I haven't even opened the box. It's behind me right here on my bench. They actually just sent an email. How's it going? I'm like, haven't even opened the box. Still at my regular job working. So I got to do that next weekend and film that for the YouTube channel. And then today, Joey had texted me this morning, Joey Mayberry, said, hey, man, how do you like those Brunt boots that you're wearing? Because Brunt sent me some boots. I've been wearing them at the range, at work, on patrol, in the shop, and I absolutely love them. They're the most comfortable boots I've ever worn. And I've had Rock Rooster sent me boots. They suck. They didn't break in very nice, so I haven't worn them because they're really heavy. They weigh it's like a Volkswagen Beetle on each foot, and they don't break in really easily. So Brunt Works sent me some boots. I tried them out. I've been posting it on my stories with their stuff. And today I reached out to them and said, listen, some of the guys at work are interested in buying these boots. My buddy Joey wants to order some, and they said they're putting together a promo code of MWW10 for 10% off coupon for anybody that wants to order that. So they're going to let me know when that's live, and then I'll share that with everybody. So other than that,
get in on that.
Yeah, they're great boots, man. One of the firemen goes, what happened to your shiny boots? Because I was wearing Core Fam boots.
Oh,
just so they're shinier than Danny's boots, because Danny shines his boots really well, and I'm too old to be doing that shit anymore. And they don't breathe well, so your feet get really hot.
That kid that quit would wear Core Fam boots. I made him go change his boots. I said, you're not wearing that shit in my car.
They look so nice, but they don't let your feet breathe very well.
No, they're cheating. They do look nice, but you put forth no effort into making them look that way, other than spraying with Windex.
Yeah, or Pledge. I used to shine my boots every day off. You know, we worked 6 days in a row. So on those 2 days off, I was polishing my boots. And then it continued for like 18 years. And then finally I'm like, fuck this. I got too much other shit going on. When I have to be in my shop, doing work stuff. And I have a drywall guy that hung. He came to price my job. I had 4 guys that never even wanted to return a price to me. One guy was way too expensive. So I've been telling everyone I needed 20 sheets of drywall that were coming to give me prices, and I'd send them pictures. This guy comes, he walks in, he looks at my ceiling. I said, it's about 20 sheets. And he goes, no, it's like 30 sheets. I'm like, 30? I'm not a drywall expert. Now, I am the Midnight Handyman, formerly known as the Midnight Handyman. I said, all right, 30 sheets. So he goes, get the 30 sheets, get this, that, and that. Go to Home Depot last Saturday. I need 30 sheets of drywall. And
I laughed really hard watching those stories.
The clerk goes, why don't you buy 34? Because you'll get a discount. And I'm like, but I don't need 34. And she's like, you'll save like $50 buying 4 more sheets. Because they discount each sheet so much. I was going to save like $50. I'm like, all right. I go, will you load it? Oh, yeah, we'll load it. I'm like, all right. I'm right out here in my pickup. Okay. So I buy 34 sheets of drywall. Then I'm filming it for my stories. And Kim's like, I'm not watching this because they're going to hit your truck and then you're going to get all mad. I'm like, they're fine. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. Drove the fork truck right into my fucking tailgate. Bam. Like, God damn it. So then I had to file a claim with them, with Home Depot and stuff. And then the claim people call me this week and say, you've got 15 days to get your truck to a body shop and get us pictures and an estimate before we determine liability. They're going to determine liability. The fucking guy hit my truck with a fork truck. I have it on videotape. So anyways, I get all the drywall home, right? We carried in, you saw the video, the reel of all stacking up, 34 sheets. Drywall guy comes. I'm at the range at the shooting during the day on limited sleep, so I got to come home and sleep so I can stay up all night. And he texts me, hey, I want to come tonight on Sunday. I'm like, all right. He goes, 7 o'clock. I'll be there at 7 o'clock. Okay. So I go, I'll be home at 7 o'clock because we were shooting from 11 to 7. He goes, all right. So I get home. He comes. I said, how much do you think you're going to get done tonight? He goes, well, I'm hoping. He had one helper with him. I'm hoping to get it all done tonight. All right, it's pretty ambitious. Oh, okay. I'll be down in the shop. Oh, first I got to take a nap. I got to sleep for 2 hours, and then I'll be in the shop. Can't sleep because it's all like, all that noise.
Yep.
Can't sleep. Get up. I said, I'm going to be down in the shop. He's like, okay. 20 to 1 in the morning, he calls me up. He's like, I got some good news and bad news. I'm like, bad news first. He looks over at the pile and he goes, you have some drywall left. 14 fucking sheets.
Wait, hold on. And you bought 34?
Yes.
Okay, 34.
Yes.
You have 14 left.
Uh-huh.
So if we take 14 from 34, we're left with carry that divide. 20. He used 20 sheets. Hey, Mike, how many sheets did you say it was going to take?
20.
Huh.
So now up there, I've also got 2 huge boxes of pre-mixed mud and 3 bags that I have to return because he had me get 5 bags and 4 boxes. And I'm like, now I got to return that shit. So I had to return all that drywall. 14 sheets. Oh, and I got a new neighbor. He just moved in across the street as a young guy. So before I went to get the drywall real quick, I walked across the street to meet him. His name's Rich. Him and his wife and his mother-in-law. They just bought the house. It's his first house. He's in his 30s like you. And he's like, met your wife, Kim. As soon as she saw them move in, she brought a cooler with drinks and water and pop and some food while they were moving in. And so she met them then. So I said, yeah, I'm going to run and get some drywall. And because he had a drywall truck guy over at his house. That's how we got on the drywall thing. He said, if you need my help, let me know. I'll be around. I'm like, okay, cool. So we go to Home Depot. He's at Home Depot. As I'm going to pick up the drywall, I see him and his mother-in-law. So we wave and he goes, we're outside. And I got the drywall coming out, and he goes, so what time? He's looking at his watch. What time are you going to be bringing that stuff in the house? And I go, I don't know, about half an hour. And he goes, okay, I might have something to do, but if I'm home, he starts giving me that line. He's joking, but we get home. Dude, that shit's heavy. And I got the ultralight stuff, but it was 2 sheets at a time we're carrying. It was just her and I. And we get 15 trips. So we got 1 trip left. Right? No, 16 trips, 1 left to go. And we see him outside. He just pushes his lawnmower around, and he waves to me. He goes, how's it going with the drywall? Kim's like, please let him take the last one. I go, no, we're good. Good timing, buddy. We already got it all in the house. It's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, that's all right. I got you. I know. So anyways. So now, yeah, it looks like Dexter's murder room in my house. There's plastic everywhere. It's a fucking disaster. And he was supposed to come today and do the sanding part.
Yeah.
And then start priming and painting, but he sprayed paint in his eye. He said he texted Kim, so he's going to come today. And now in the morning, it's midnight. It's 12:20. At 6, I got to run to the paint store and get all the paint and primer, and then I got to run to the Menards to get stuff for the vanity or the island, and go to breakfast. So that's how I'm going to end my night, getting all the shit for him to come tomorrow. So. This guy. All right. So we had do you want to do the police officer stuff or no? We'll do it next week.
I'm really tired.
Yeah. We've kept Brandon up way too long. So we'll get to the Officer Down Memorial page next week. We will be on track again for a while. I don't have vacation coming up. Maybe a possible career change, but that won't affect next week's recording. So, and you're not going on vacation. So I'm at the point where I'm just going to be at the police department for another 15 years, and I'll do a 40-year career or whatever. So
why not? At this point,
never going to get hired by anybody else. So if someone would like to send a question or anything to us, what do they do?
So they can record a voice memo, much like David Franklin did. Excuse me. And then you can email it to handcuffs&sawdustpodcast@gmail.com. You can also write in a question and send it to the same email address, or you can DM it to Marrazzo. Shut up. I'm trying to remember stuff. There's a lot of pressure right here. Not so much here or here, but right here.
No, you look fine. I don't see anything.
So you can send a DM on Instagram to Marrazzo Woodworking, at Full House Woodworking, or at the Handcuffs and Sawdust podcast.
When you said you can write, I thought you were going to give them my personal home address and they can write me a letter.
They could do that. I don't care.
No, I don't want.
I'm not going to give them your personal address. They can DM me and then I'll give it to them.
All right, or they can just Google it. I'm sure it'll come up
I'm sure it's there.
That's how we protect our police officers and judges and stuff. Our information's out there in the public.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
If you're going to bring me something, bring me some food.
What's the worst that could happen?
All right, thanks for listening to episode 43 and watching on YouTube. Like, share, save, ring the bell, do all that fun stuff. Most importantly, stay safe in the shop and on the streets, Brandon.
You too.
Love you, buddy.
Back at
you. Peace!
Deuces.
I just woke up the cat. He raised his head and looked at me like, what are you doing? I'm sleeping right here in front of you. He's right here.
Bitch, just shut up.
If I tilt this down, if you can see him. He's right there. Good stuff. All right, brother. I'm sorry I kept you so long.
It's all right. I'm going to go tile some more.
Better you than me. I'm going to go make a sandwich, I think, and then come down here and start editing the podcast so I can get it up. Get it up.
That's
Hello.
what she said.
Yeah, she did. Like 20 years ago. Or 26 years ago. How old is my
Now it's take your pill.
Yeah. Take your pill, please. All right.
All right, buddy.
It was good seeing you.
It's good to see you. I'm going to go see how Annie's softball game went. It's her last regular season game before the playoffs.
Hope she won.
They're not very good.
Okay. So why are they going to the playoffs?
Because everybody does.
Okay, it's one of those.
It's a rec league.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell her.
I don't think they have enough teams.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, tell her I said hi.
All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. I'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.